What's up, YouTube? B Squad, sorry. What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here with some hot topics, you guys. So these are the week's hottest topics for the week of August the 13th through August the 19th, you guys. So before we go ahead and just get into these hot topics, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed, I need you guys to do me a huge favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video. And with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, let us discuss what is hot and what is trending this week, shall we? All right, you guys, so this week I kind of wrote myself out because I forgot to type it up. But the first thing we want to do is we want to extend a rest in peace to actress Anne Heche. So I had saw this, everything that happened with Anne Heche on my local news, on Entertainment Tonight, and all that stuff, where she had. Now they don't. I don't think they've said it yet if she had, the presence of alcohol or drugs in her system. But you guys know Anne Heche. She ran into a house, and the car and the house caught on. The house, the car, they all caught on fire, right? Now they did get her out of the car and they put her in one of those burn bags. Now I did see the video where her body jolted up, but you guys do know that that probably was adrenaline that rushed through her body, because she had been in the hospital for what, 2 weeks, I think, at that point before she passed away, but there was no brain activity, so she was declared brain dead, right? I think up until recently they were keeping her on life support because of her organs, because they were going to use her, she was an organ transplant, so they were keeping her alive via the machine so that they could harvest her organs. So yeah, definitely, I know everybody's come out and said, their condolences. I know Ellen DeGeneres made a post about her, because you guys remember she and Ellen dated years ago. So rest in peace to actress Anne Heche. I know she had some kids. I know she has kids. I think she has two, right? So my prayers up to those affected by her loss, her family, her friends, her fans, everyone who loved her. Rest in peace, Anne Heche. All right, you guys. So the next thing that I want to talk about, let's talk about this whole situation over there at Stars, you guys. So I didn't talk about, the fact that P-Valley, yes I did. I talked about P-Valley. It hasn't been renewed, and it still technically hasn't been renewed yet. But what we do know at Stars is that they have decided not to go through with the fifth installment of the Power franchise, and the fifth installment was going to be the book that was going to surround Councilman's hate. Keeping it real with you guys, I was not at all interested in seeing that. Nothing against, Lorenz Tate or anybody. I just wasn't interested in seeing a story that surrounded Councilman Tate. He's an interesting character, but he's not that interesting for me to want to sit there and watch a whole series about him. Like, it was hard for me to get into Power Book 4 Force with Tommy. That was a slow burn. I have got to be honest with you guys. Reviewing that show was a slow burn. I did it because, I'm so loyal to the Power universe with reviews, but that one was one that I was like, ugh. That first episode, I was like, okay, I see where we're going, but but you guys know how my mind is. I think a lot of things, I think too deeply sometimes. But that show, it's not terrible, but it just wasn't the best for me when it comes to everything that's happened since the original Power. So you guys know I love Raising Kanan, and you guys know I love Book 2. Those two are my top two when it comes to the Power franchise. Since we branched off from the original Power, it's Book 3 and it's Book 2. Those are my top two those are my go-tos. So over at Stars, they, like I said, they didn't greenlit Influence. Fine with that, right? I have an issue with Stars, and I'm starting to, we talk about 50 Cent all the time, right? Because we know how 50 is when his shows have not gotten a renewal. You guys remember with Force didn't get a renewal almost until, I think it was like it was like either a week or 2 weeks before the season finale that Force got their season 2 renewal. But you guys know how 50 is every year when it comes to his shows over there at Stars. He pitches a fit, and we are all like, 50, you doing the most, right? Maybe he's not, you guys, because we have to look at P Valley. P Valley has not gotten renewed yet. Part of me is wondering if it has anything to do with that situation with Nikki Gilbert, because you guys know that she's still going after them for saying that they stole from her stage play. Me personally, I still ain't saw that stage play. I have no intentions of ever seeing that stage play. So I think that's one thing that kind of to keep in the back of your brain, right? But then when I think about Stars, right? Remember, I was telling you guys in one of my videos that there's a show. I think it was this. I think it was my finale review. There's a show that Courtney Cox stars in, right? That show premiered in March, right around the time that Force premiered. Only reason why I remember it is because I watch my shows on the app. So they briefly, and I mean when I say briefly, they briefly talked about that show. It was like maybe a 30-second commercial that they showed, and I was like, oh, okay, you got a show with Courtney Cox. And I saw it once. After that, I didn't see it anymore. Only time I would see that show is if when you open the app, you know how at the top of, if you got the app, at the top of the app, it'll show you the shows that are on that day. Like if Highlander is on, if Power is on, you can scroll through and see what show you want to watch, right? So that show premiered in March. It got a renewal in May. And I didn't watch it. I will say if Stars cancels P Valley, that would be a dumb move. Like, let's be real, that would be a dumb move, because you would be pushing away a big audience. You would be losing an audience because some people watch P Valley and some people don't watch Power. I do see that on social media where people say I've never watched an episode of Power, but they never miss an episode of P Valley, and vice versa. Some people don't watch P Valley and some people watch, Power. But I think when it comes to us, if they were to cancel anything like Power, P Valley, and I'm gonna throw in BMF, even though I've never really, I watched 1.5 episodes of BMF. The episode that I did watch, it was good. I just didn't finish it. If they cancel any of those 3 shows, that would be detrimental to Stars, and I really do think it would be. Because, and you have to think about it you got to think about it. They're all about the money. So while P Valley is on, there's nothing else that's for us on. So you would lose us. So let's just say, because you guys think about how the world of Stars works. Right now we have Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, right? So then after Raising Kanan ends, I'm pretty positive Book 2 is coming back in November or so. So we'll be back for Book 2 pretty soon. Then after Book 2 ends, you're going to go right into Power Book 4, Force. And then after Force, what are they going to have? Well, I know last year with BMF and with Power Book 2, I believe those aired around the same. Either BMF, what are y'all going to do? Like, y'all are not going to have enough programming for us if y'all don't renew P Valley. I just really think it would be a dumb move if they don't renew it. I really do. I think it would be the dumbest move if they don't renew it. But hey, let me know what you guys thinking. Fill in the comment section below, and we're gonna go ahead and move forward, you guys. All right, guys. Next up, let's talk about Orlando Brown real quick. You guys, not much has changed since the last time I talked about Orlando Brown. I still feel the same way I felt the last time we talked about Orlando Brown, when he was talking about how Bow Wow has some wet ass pussy. I still feel like he has slided back into drugs. And the reason why I say that is, if you look at his outwardly appearance, number one, his eyes, his lips, his skin, his hair, like if you just look at his appearance, that is someone that is going through some kind of battle with sobriety. I just don't think that Orlando Brown is a sober person right now. And I think he needs, and I'm still, the other question that I'm wondering is why are people interviewing Orlando Brown? I could see it if he had new projects out that he was promoting, but I don't even know if anybody at this point would want to work with Orlando Brown because the man is a liability. Like, let's be real. He is a liability. I don't think he is mentally there. I don't know if it, like I said, if it's a mental illness, it's not being treated. If it is drugs, it's not being treated. And I just want to know why people keep interviewing him, because now it feels like people are doing this for clicks, views, and basically to make a mockery of him. So I just don't really know what the situation is and why we keep interviewing him. I'm kind of skeptical of that. Why do we keep interviewing Orlando Brown? I just want to know the answer to that question, and if I can, that would make a lot of sense to me. So so the latest thing with Orlando Brown after the Bow Wow situation is he's saying that Diddy gave him some sloppy toppy. What? Now, I will say, we don't know what these celebrities do in their personal lives, in their bedrooms. We don't know because this allegedly, this could be true, it could be false. But when we're dealing with someone like Orlando Brown, you kind of have to take things with a fine grain of salt because I'm just like, what? How do we? Oh God, Greg Abbott, why is this man on TV? So yeah, with Orlando Brown, you kind of got to take things with just a fine grain of salt. Like I said, I believe that. I mean, we got to think about all the things that Orlando Brown has done over. Because at one point, I could have swore he got clean. I thought he got clean after that situation where he was talking. I mean, talking recklessly about Raven online. I thought he got help after that point, but I guess I know when it comes to drugs and alcohol, that is something that is a lifelong thing for people. So you deal with that. You deal with that indefinitely. It never goes away. But I just think he's just slided back into that drug, whatever his drug of choice is. If it's not drugs, it's mental illness. One of the two, and somebody needs to intervene. Like he's not. I mean, oh, when you think about him, because Orlando Brown is a child star. Orlando Brown, he has. I mean, that's so Raven. He was on. Wasn't he on Hanging with Mr. Cooper? Like Orlando Brown he is a child star. I hate to say this, but I'm thinking this out loud, and I'm gonna say it. I wonder if he got any money left from his. Because I mean, does he have any money left? Like I would imagine that he has blown through whatever fortune he had. I would think so. I could be wrong, but hey, that's that, you guys. We're gonna pause here and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So the next story that I want to talk about is somebody that I don't really care for these days. I ain't cared for her in quite some time. So former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kim Zolciak is back in the media. When I saw Kim's face, I was like, oh, what the hell now? Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with Kim. It actually has to do with her daughter Ariana. So that's her. So you guys remember Ariana and um, Brielle, her oldest two. You guys remember them from the first two seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta when she was with Big Papa's. Not Big Papa's kids. I think those are her kids with her ex-husband or her ex, whoever she was with before. So Brielle, 20 years old. I did not know Brielle was 20. Well, I guess I shouldn't think that Brielle was 20 because Brielle graduated a few years ago. So okay, so Brielle is 20 years old. So Brielle has a boyfriend, and they were out, having. I guess they were having fun, right? Like what kids do. And I'm not gonna come down hard on the girl because I have no room to judge anybody because baby, I did some things in my 20s, right? I'll tell you guys a little brief story. So it was hilarious. So I had a bottle of vodka that I got from one of my friends. I was 20 years old, precisely 20, right? So my mom went to the store one day and she was putting her stuff in the trunk of my car, and she was like, Drum, why do you have a bottle of open vodka in your trunk? I was like, She's like, take it out. She says, if you get pulled over, they're gonna arrest you for that. I expected her to be like really upset at me, but she really wasn't. She says, I know you probably aren't drinking, and you know that you're not supposed to, but I can't. She said, I can't stop you. If somebody gives it to you, I can't stop it. Like, I started drinking at a very young age, and come to think of it, today at 33, I don't drink nearly as much as I used to in my late teens and my early 20s. I don't drink nearly as much as I used. I used to love, like, anytime I would go to the club, anytime I would go to a bar, I wanted a drink. I don't care, didn't care what it was. Today, I really don't care for it. I'll drink a beer. I'll drink like a margarita. I'll drink that kind of. Sometimes if I'm feeling it, I'll drink. Actually, you know what? Let me stop lying. Because every time I go to get my manicure and pedicure, I always get a margarita. That's it. But other than that, well, I did say I don't drink that as much as I used to, which I don't. I don't drink that much. But so Ariana got pulled over, right? So she got arrested on suspicion of a DUI. So they don't really have much against her because I think they said that she refused a breathalyzer, which smart. I don't really say that for them, but that was smart because they don't have anything against her. It's her word against the cop's word. So I was like, okay, that's smart. Your mama taught you something. I don't know what she taught you, but she taught you something. She taught you something. I really don't care about. I really, really don't care. I just want to briefly discuss that. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought about it, and we can move on forward, you guys. So let's pause here and let's go ahead and move forward with the next few stories. All right, you guys. So the next story we're going to talk about is Rick Ross. Rick Ross, you ought to be ashamed of your ass. So, Rick Ross and his family owned Wingstops, right? Rick Ross has been fined over $100,000 in labor laws. Baby, I would never want to work for Rick Ross. I would never want to eat at Rick Ross's Wingstops. I would forfeit it. If somebody said, hey, let's go to that Rick Ross Wingstop, I'd be like, fuck you and fuck that Wingstop. Do you know what Rick Ross, do you know the shit that's in the media about him? Absolutely not. So I'm gonna run it down. So it's over, like I said, it's over $100,000. It's for back wages, civil penalties, and liquidated damages. So let's go a little bit deeper into this situation with Rick Ross. And Rick, this is why I say your ass, I was about to say your big ass, but well, yeah, let's go ahead and say your big ass ought to be ashamed of yourself. So Rick Ross is paying below the minimum wage. And you guys know, minimum wage is $7.25. I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about what the cost of living is here in Dallas, right? Like a one bedroom apartment in certain areas, you can get a one bedroom apartment for as low as $1,500. That's right. 1,500 is the lowest you might find. The highest you're going to find is probably over $2,000. So let's take into account that someone who works minimum wage makes $7.25 an hour, right? I don't know how anybody can sustain that. Because if you make $7.25 an hour, let's say you make I think they said in order to afford living with the cost of living today, I think they said a person would have to work like 110 hours to 140 hours a week. Who the fuck is gonna do that unless you're doing it in overtime? And even in overtime, they tax the hell out of it. They tax the hell out of that too. So you realize. So I mean, after the taxes, bitch, you're still below the poverty line. So when you say somebody lives off, like As a teenager, yes. My first job as a teenager, that's back when minimum wage was $5.25. My first job as a teenager, I made $5.25, and there were people who were older than me working there full time. I was thinking to myself, and that was when I knew at that age, at 16 years old, I was like, yeah, this is not something that I want to do with the rest of my life. I do not want to work a dead end job. And no, and I'm not saying that, to have a slight against anybody. I just knew that I couldn't live that way because most of the people who I worked with, it, that was the job that I worked at. That was actually their second job. I was like, there's just no way I don't want to do that. I don't want to put myself through having to go from one job to the next job. If I do, and I said before I went to college, if I do work two jobs, then I want that to be a personal choice of mine, not because I need to work a second job. It's because I want extra money, and that's currently how it is for me in my life. My main job that I have, that makes me good money. I can survive off of that. I work extra. I do extra stuff on the side just to have a little extra spending money whenever, you know, whenever I want to do something nice for myself, or even when I'm going between the pay week. If I don't, if I'm like, okay, you don't get paid until next week, but hey, you got extra money coming in. I do that, but to do it to scratch and survive, I just knew that wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't for me. And then $7.25 an hour. How do you afford your bills? That's why people live in these low-end communities. These communities that are these the dilapidated apartments where they have subpar living conditions. People can, and I do feel bad when I see people who live in, rundown homes, rundown apartments. They can't afford anything better than that, and it's terrible. Like, it's terrible. And then here his ass is paying people below the minimum wage. Like, you are full of shit, Rick Ross. Like, that's all I gotta say is you are full of it, full of shit. But so then let's keep going, right? So he also forces people to pay for their uniforms, but you're paying them below the minimum wage. You're paying these people as if they are. Well, I have a question, because Wingstop, isn't that considered like your restaurants where, like a Sonic and stuff like that, where they don't get paid, where they have their own set minimum wage, where it's like $2, and like a restaurant, like a actual restaurant where you go and sit down and you have a waitress and a bartender, right? But that's not what Wingstop isn't like that. Wingstop isn't like that. I don't eat at Wingstop like that, so that's why I'm asking. I don't eat at Wingstop because I was thinking about it. Because like if you work at like bartenders and bussers and waitresses and waiters, they don't make money. They don't make a lot of when they get their checks. Because I had some friends back in high school. They used to work at Sonic back in the day, and I saw one of my friends' check. She showed me her check. I was like, girl, what is that? Her check was 23 cents. I was like, not $23, not $230, 23 cents. She was like, yeah. She was like, we make money off our tips. I'm like, baby, it wouldn't be me. Because she was like, you can work at Sonic with us. I was like, hell nah. I don't live like that. I don't want to live. You do not give me no check that has only cents on it. You give me a check with some dollars and some cents, and then we'll talk. But if it just got cents on it, he ain't doing it. So yeah, I wonder. So and the more I thought about it, yes, it's wrong that he's paying below the minimum wage. But is that considered like one of those? Is that considered like a restaurant where their minimum wage is literally like $2 and something? I just have that question. Obviously, it's not. If he's been sued for it, if he's been fined for it, it must not be. So the people being paid below minimum wage, they are forced to pay for their uniforms and for their required training. Nigga, what? You mean to tell me that I gotta come? I want to come work for you, but then you force me to pay for my own training? Get the fuck out of here. And then on top of that, if the register was short, they had to pay for it. Ricky, you got me up with someone else. And then he also had a 15-year-old there working past 10 o'clock. Now, anybody who knows about the child labor laws, you cannot have these kids working past a certain time. Rick, pay them people what they are owed and do better. But I would never come to your restaurant. I know that's for damn certain. Would never come to it. Absolutely NOT. All right, guys, let's pause here and move to the next story. All right, you guys, let's talk about ASAP Rocky real quick. So, ASAP Rocky, now, charges have been filed against ASAP Rocky for the shooting that happened back in November of last year with his friend. Now, how in the hell do you shoot your friend? What kind of an argument do you get in with a friend that you just pop your friend? Like, I never understand that. What kind of argument do you get into? I could never just just pop my friends. For what? Ugh. Ugh. So yeah, he's been charged. I forgot what the charge. He has assault charges, right? For semi-automatic. I think it's a semi-automatic. It's two charges. It's two, but he's been charged with assault. Now, I did see that he has pled not guilty to it. He can plead not guilty to it. I don't know if that's gonna. I mean, well, he pleads not guilty, right? So they'll take it to. But isn't his friend? Oh, isn't his friend the one that filed it against him? Don't. Oof. With this one, I feel like they must. Oof. And he faces up to 9 years in prison. And they just had ASAP Rocky. I have nothing to say. Because if you shot your friend, because I know somebody's shooting me, baby, I'm gonna call 911. Like I'm family, friend, anybody. If you shoot me, bitch, and I can live to talk, I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the cops. Calling the cops on that ass. But yeah. I wonder if they might give him a plea deal where he doesn't have to serve the 9 years, but he might have to, pay a fine, do some, maybe do a little time in jail. At least he ain't like Young Thug them. Ooh, Young Thug is not getting out of jail. So that's that, you guys. Let's pause here and let's go ahead and move forward. All right, you guys. So next up, Mariah Carey. So while Mariah Carey was on vacation with her boyfriend and her kids, Monroe and Moroccan, her Atlanta home was burglarized. Now they haven't said if anything was stolen from the home, and they also haven't said if anything was stolen or not, right? And it's interesting. So this burglary took place 2 days after she posted on social media that she was out of, on vacation. That is the one thing that I be hating when people do. I don't know why people, celebrities, regular people, I don't know why people do this. Like back in the day when Facebook was, well, I think it's still popular, but it's not popular for me because I don't use it. But back in the day when Facebook was, like, I'll tell you guys another small story. So the first time when I got my first iPhone and I was in the club, you know how you can tag yourself places on Facebook, say so and so is at so and so. And actually, one of my friends, I tagged myself at the club, and one of my friends, somebody that I was cool with, she posted, "Why do people tag themselves at the club?" And I went on her comment. I said, "Well, I was bored. I had never used the feature before, so that's why I tagged myself at the club." And she's like, "Oh no, I wasn't talking about you." Yeah, you were. You just didn't expect for me to see that post and chime in on it, but I did. So and after that, I stopped doing it because I thought about it. Because if people know where I live and they see that I'm not at home, that would probably give people free reign to try to go to my house and try to break in and take whatever's there. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Stop doing that. It's not the smartest thing in the world to do, right? And that's why I look at when people post, that they are out of the country, they're at a bar. I'm like, why do y'all post where y'all are? That's not the smartest thing in the world. I just don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Like, I hate when my family and my friends do it. Like currently I don't use Facebook, but I do sometimes get notifications when my family, like I had a cousin that tagged me with her one day. I'm like, girl, I am nowhere near where you are. We're not in the same place. But I guess it was a picture that we had taken, and she tagged me in it, and we were at the same place. I was like, okay, because I'm like, I don't want people, because I will untag in a heartbeat. Just like with Instagram, like Instagram has that geotag in it, and it asks you, do you want to tag where you are? Absolutely the not. I do not want to do that. And the reason why I stopped doing it back in when I was in my 20s and early, late teens, early 20s, the reason that I stopped doing it was because of my mom. She was a prime example. She was a prime reason why I stopped doing it, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want nothing bad happening to her. I don't want people thinking, oh, he's not at home, so there's nobody there. When 9 times out of 10, my mom is at home, and I didn't want nobody going into the house. So I stopped doing it. And I think with these celebrities, you guys have to stop. I think with these celebrities as well as regular people, stop doing that shit. Like, if your house is easily accessible, stop doing stuff like that. And if you got valuable stuff in there, stop doing it. That's all I gotta say is stop doing it. It's just not, to me, it's not the smartest thing in the world to do, but people are gonna do whatever the hell they wanna do. That's all I gotta say. Let's pause here, you guys, and let's go ahead and move on forward to the next story that we got to talk about. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about this lawsuit between Swiss Beats and Verzuz. By a show of hands, how many people are watching Verzuz these days? Verzuz was hot, in the pandemic, but we're slowly getting out. I mean, let's be honest, we're still in the pandemic, and we got monkeypox and polio. Baby, we're still in it. But I know that they're not gonna shut down the world again. It would be nice if they did. It would be nice. Because I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, there are so many viruses that just keep popping up. I'm like, Lord, what are you trying to tell us, right? But what was I saying? What was I talking about? Oh, Verzuz. That's how much I don't give a damn. Verzuz. So you guys know that that Swizz and Timbaland sold Verzuz to that app Triller. I watched one verse. Whose verse? I think I watched the Patty and Gladys. Yes, I did. I did. I watched the Patty and Gladys verses on Triller. I also watched the Earth, Wind, and Fire and Isley Brothers verses on Triller. And after that, I have not watched a single verses on Triller. That app is annoying as hell. I don't even know if I elected for the push notifications. I know I didn't. But they send me so many damn notifications. It's like, what the fuck? That app is annoying. I hate that app. Like, I could just be minding my business, and there's Triller with an alert about something. I'm like, why? I did not hit push note. Maybe I did. Maybe I did hit the push notifications and I just didn't remember it. But that app is annoying. That app is annoying. So Swizz and Timbaland are suing them for $28 million, right? So when they sold them to Triller, they're saying that Triller never, gave them the money that they owed them. I was like, really? Again, you guys, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I don't know why Triller bought Verzuz, and I don't know why they sold Verzuz. I don't know why they continue Verzuz. I think now with Verzuz, I think people watch it to see a train wreck. Like, let's be real. Cause that Omarion and Mario versus, the highlights of that was not the music. Let's keep it 100%. That the highlights of that wasn't the music. The highlights of that was Ray J, Omarion, and it singing. Him and Orion with the watermelon. Ugh. Um, the pre verse, like all of that's like it's the train wreck that people are watching now, because concerts are back happening. Like Chris Brown is on tour right now. Beyonce, girl, when are you gonna announce a tour, bitch? When are you announcing a tour? That's all I want to know. Like, people are going back on tour. I know Megan Thee Stallion is doing some stuff with her album. So I don't necessarily think that people are just really 100% interested in verses these days. I know I'm not. I can honestly tell you the last few verses I have not watched. I hadn't watched the verses up until the Omarion and what's his name? Omarion and Mario verses. That was the first time I had watched the verses in quite some time, because before that I wasn't watching it. I hadn't watched it. Had not watched it. Had not. Like, I'm just not interested. And I think the reason why I'm not as interested in verses anymore is because it's over. It's not. I'm not gonna say overproduced. Well, yeah, that is a good word for it. It's overproduced because back when we first started watching verses, it was the infamous Teddy. I mean, let's go back to Teddy Riley and Babyface, right? They were in the comfort of their own homes, in their studios. Remember when Teddy Riley had all them people in that studio with him, and he was like, Teddy, we're in a pandemic. Chill. And then he had all this equipment. Oh God, it was hilarious. See, I miss those verses where even when we got in person, I was even with the Ashanti, and who the hell was she going up against? Who the hell did Ashanti go up against? Child, it was Keisha Cole, wasn't it? Mm, what a verses. Even with Brandy and Monica, when they were in person, like I miss those, just those. It was just intimate. Now it's a goddamn, oh my Jesus Christ, that woman put on a mush. Wow. Oh wow. Sorry you guys, I'm watching this video. This woman got arrested and she pulled out a gun and she shot at the cops. Girl, you are going to, I mean, you are going to jail. Baby, they got you on camera shooting at them. Can't nobody defend that. Yeah, versus. And let me know if you guys are still watching versus. I'm not. I don't have anything for versus. Yeah, if they need, if they are owed the money, give them the money. If they not, I don't give a damn. So yeah, you guys, that's that. I think we're almost done. I believe. Let me check and make sure. Look at all my notes. Yep, we're almost done. So let's pause here, you guys, and let's go ahead and wrap up hot topics. All right, you guys. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is that damn pastor out there in, where is he at? Is he in Kansas City? I think he is. The one that called his congregation broke, busted, and disgusted, because it gives. If you guys are familiar with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Mary Cosby. You guys remember Mary Cosby was a pastor in her church in Salt Lake City, and this kind of is reminiscent of Mary's first season, when they showed her that video of her when she was going off on her congregation because they didn't buy her a birthday gift. This is one of the prime examples of why I don't do churches these days. These like, I can't go to a church where my pastor lives a better life than I do. And I don't have an issue with you living a better life than me, but I don't want my pastor to feel like he's up here and I'm down here. Like, that don't work for me. That don't work for me. Like, and I don't like when I don't want to go to a church where my pastor, where I feel like he feels like he is neck and neck with God. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. No ham. No Pam. No, 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 no. I don't want that. So that's why I don't do mega churches. That's why I just don't do typical churches, because I think that the people inside of the church are a little bit not a little bit, a lot of bit hypocritical these days. And then shit like this with the pastors, where they feel like the people owe them something. I don't owe you a damn thing. I don't owe you nothing. I owe you, only thing I owe you is to come to this church and for you to quote unquote preach the word to me, teach me the words of God, teach me the right way to be a Christian, teach me that. But other than that, I don't owe you a MFing thing. And then he gonna come back out and say, oh, well, this video went viral and I want to apologize to my congregation. No, sir, don't do it. See, and that's the one thing that I hate about people. I can't stand that. If you say something, stand in it. Stand in it. Stand 10 toes in that shit and be like, you know what? Yeah, I said it. I was fucked up for what I said, but I said it nonetheless. Can I take it back? No. Like you said, when you call those people broke, busted, and disgusted, you meant that. And then it gives very sheepish, it gives cultish, because the fact that people were still sitting there and applauding him. Amen. He just called you cheap. He just called you broke. He just called you disgusting. And you still sitting here listening to this man's word. When the first word of cheap came out of his mouth, I would be like, get your shit, we finna go. And I wouldn't even put up the church finger to let him know. I would have been like, I got your cheap bitch. Me and my cheap ass, we finna walk out this church. So, and I would say, I hope the rest of you motherfuckers are smart enough to know he don't give a damn about y'all. Like, he don't care. All it is about money for this motherfucker. He is literally sitting here calling people cheap. But look at him. Like, absolutely not. He looked like one of them preachers that take the building fund and the tithes and offering and put it in his pockets. Like, let's be real, because I know some of them do it. Like, he looks like he's one of those people that takes that church building fund and the tithes and offering and pocket it. That's why I used to never. My church back in the day, when I used to go to church, I would always just give my tithes and my offering. That was it. I would never contribute toward that building fund, because I just didn't. Let me, because I was about to go off on, I was about to say something. Well, no, I can say it. Because back in the day, back when I used to go, why am I using an air quote? Back when I used to go to church, my church was a church on a hill. That's literally what we called it, because it was a hill and it kind of leaned, it leaned a little bit. It was an older church, right? It had been there for years. And I'm like, this church, I don't know what kind of, because we were supposed to build a church. We were building a church for years. For years we were building it. They were like, the building fund, we building, we getting the money for our new church that we building. And one day I got to the point where I was like, why do y'all keep asking for a building fund? And y'all been asking for a building fund for over 10 years and we still ain't got a new church. We still don't have a new church. But eventually they did get a new church. I was no longer a member of the church, but they eventually got one. I was like, oh, it literally took over 10 years to get a brand new church. All right, you guys, but that's all I got for this week, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about everything that we've discussed. Oh, no, I got one more story. I got a congratulations before we go. Congratulations are in order to Adrienne Houghton and her husband, Israel Houghton, who welcomed a bouncing baby boy this recently. I don't know how recently, but they had a little boy, and I figured they had him via surrogacy because I knew that Adrienne, although I'm not the biggest fan of Adrienne, I knew that Adrienne had some issues with fertility and having a baby. So congratulations to she and Israel. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Neither she nor Israel are people that I really care for. I'm not fond of them. I'm really not fond of. I think it's just Adrienne that I'm not the most fond of. But hey, congratulations to both Adrienne and Israel. And that's it, you guys. That is it. Let me know what you guys thought about each and every story that we've discussed today. Leave your comments down in the comment section. You guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. Share the video, you guys. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, you guys. wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. You guys, we do this every single Friday, same time, same place, same channel, and I am your same host. And I'll see you guys in the next one. So I will see you guys later on. I'm trying to get this done in a timely manner, but I'm recording this, and then I'm going to try to record Married at First Sight. So you guys should see this and Married at First Sight sometime today, and then later you guys shall see. This is Friday when I'm recording this, so you guys should see later today. You should see what is it that comes on tonight? What comes on tonight, you guys? Oh, Bell Collective, Life After Lockup, and Ready to Love. You should see those sometime. And also, you guys, I'm trying to get. I did put up a review of Pretty Little Liars, the original sin. I know the season finale was yesterday, but I'm taking my time watching it. So episode 2 will be up either later this afternoon or tomorrow as well. But I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.